I wake up to a notification that says Myles Turner has signed with the Milwaukee Bucks for $26 million a year. And apparently the Indiana Pacers weren't offering him anything above 20. And you know what? Something else I'm angry about is this Myles Turner jersey. It has the NBA Finals patch on the back. Fanatics didn't get it to me until multiple days after the NBA Finals ended. And I ordered them as soon as they came out at the start of June. Fanatics, how could you put a jersey for sale and then you're not shipping it out? You put it for sale at the start of June and you're not shipping it out until the game 7 of the finals is when they shipped it, and it didn't get to my house until like 3 days after. That's a different rant for a different time. I'm sorry for my voice sounding weird. I woke up recently and my throat's sore. You know, I was feeling bad for all this bad stuff that I had said about Herb Simon, because I heard people praising Herb Simon. You know, great job by Herb Simon for helping put this team together and help keep the team in Indiana and all that. And okay, fine, like, He deserves some credit, right? He's been a solid owner. And everybody praises him like, oh, he's the longest tenured owner in the NBA or whatever. Does that mean that he's gone the longest of owning an NBA team without winning a championship? So let me just say, as a fan of this team, I don't care how long Herb Simon has owned this team. You have a center who's been here for a decade, who loves being here, who talks great about our city, great about our franchise, helped lift up the whole city along with the rest of this team. He's a key piece of a team that took a 68-win Thunder team to 7 games and would have won if Tyrese Halliburton didn't get hurt. That close to a championship. And you take the starting center, and you're not willing to go into the luxury tax just because he played a bad series. Forget about the performances he had before that helped get us to the finals. And last year, that helped get us to the Eastern Conference Finals. Forget all of that. And you won't offer him more than $20 million a year because you're scared to go into the luxury tax? Because your cheap ass won't keep this team together. And Herb Simon, you own a bunch of malls and a bunch of other stuff. You have billions of dollars. You aren't willing to go into the luxury tax for a team that probably netted you a really nice profit last year after they went all the way to the NBA Finals. And you're not willing to go into the luxury tax? You're selling sweatshirts in the team store for $75 and you're not willing to go into the luxury tax? You know, Herb, I don't know if you understand this. You've been around basketball long enough. You should understand this. The reason this team worked was because of the chemistry and the way they played together and the way that they meshed. It wasn't about stats. It wasn't about analytics. It wasn't about any of that fancy stuff that people try to talk about. It was just good old-fashioned chemistry and great flowing basketball. A coach that understands his players that understand each other, and just an understandingness and a togetherness that this team had. And that's why we beat a 64 wins Cavs team. When they were healthy, we were up 80-39 on them. I don't want to hear anything about injuries. When they were healthy, we were up 80-39 at halftime, and they were fully healthy. I don't want to hear anything about that. We had more injuries than they did. This isn't like if we traded Obi or we traded Benedict Mathurin. Stupid moves. But this is your starting center who's hit multiple big shots, who's had multiple great series, who's played his best basketball with Tyrese Halliburton. Some people are saying, well, Tyrese Halliburton isn't going to play next year. Is next year the last year that basketball's going to be played on Earth? Why is everybody acting like we need to make crazy moves just because Tyrese Halliburton's out for a year? He's not dead. He's going to come back. In 2 years, when Tyrese is back, Myles Turner would have been back to playing with Tyrese Halliburton. It's just back to like when Paul George got hurt. It might be worse than that, actually. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something going on that I don't know about. But I am biased to immediately when it's money, when the thing they couldn't come to terms with was the amount of money, I immediately look at the guy who is too cheap to do multiple things. Because Herb Simon has a history of being cheap. He won't spend the money for this team. He won't go into the luxury tax for a team that went to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And you know what? We're not getting there again. Myles Turner's gone. There's not a lot of Myles Turners in the world. There's not a lot of Myles Turners that we can get for $17 million a year or less. I wasn't a big fan of making short-term moves just because Halliburton was going to be out this year. I wanted to see what guys like Benedict Mathurin and Andrew Nembhard could have done as the facilitators and, a number 2 option as a starter for Benedict Mathurin. Now, maybe we can look back on this and laugh at how stupid I sound because we find a replacement. We find somebody that can fill his shoes. We find somebody who can give us everything that Myles Turner gave us and then some. But there's also a chance that this is just the beginning of the end. Well, it was nice going to the finals for the first time in 25 years, and I guess we're going to have to wait 25 years to get back. I was really hoping that when everybody said, you're not going back to the finals, they were wrong. Because they said last year we wouldn't be back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then we got back, and not only did we get back, but we won. And so now everybody's saying you're not going to be back to the finals. So I was just going to wait until Tyrese Halliburton got healthy, and we had the same team, and we ran it back because they would have been just as good, if not better. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. This is